Hi guys, it's Leah here from Future Youth Zone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a cat out of a pair of socks. So you're going to need some sort of stuffing, whether that's cotton wool balls, cotton wool pads, some real stuffing or pom-poms, whatever you'd like that's soft. You need a pair of socks, can be bed socks, can be a lot smaller than this, but don't use trainer socks. Just any sort of socks, old ones, new ones, whatever you'd like. You need some needles and some thread. So for the moment, don't worry about any of this other stuff. All you need is your socks in front of you. So we need to make sure they're nice and flat. So if we unfold them and make sure they're flat on the table so the heel's facing you. Let's do that. There we go, so the heels are facing up. So we're gonna start off with one of our socks. So I'll move this one out of the way for the moment. And what we've got to do is cut off the tip of the sock. So that's what we're gonna start with. So let's make sure it's level. So we're gonna make sure you're gonna cut off all the red bit at once rather than leaving a bit of red left behind. Doesn't matter if you do though, because you can chop that off afterwards. You can neaten it up once you've done it. There we go. So I've got a bit of red, I'm gonna get rid of that. Just chop that off. Don't worry about the little bits, that won't be a problem, and you can get rid of them if you want to. So let's make sure it's back in half because we want it folded down the middle. And now we're going to make two little cuts, one on this end and one on the other end, to create your legs of your cat. So again, make sure it's all lined up because you don't want wonky bits of material. So make a cut straight through the middle to about that much. You don't want it too much, you don't want to go all the way up the sock, but you want two nice looking legs. So now you've done this side, flip over and do the exact same on the other side. But again, make sure it's just all even. And then do the same. There we go. So as you can see, we've got two legs here and two legs here. I've made this side a little bit shorter, where these are going to be the front legs. They could be as long as you want, or you could do them shorter or longer, but you just want them to be clear legs. So you want them to be clearly separated. So now you're done with this sock, so we put that to the side for 1 second. And then with this pair, we're now gonna chop off the top again. So let's do that, let's chop off the top. Neaten that up as well. I did terribly with that side, but that's all right. Cool. So that's the top of that sock gone. So now we're going to create some sort of head shape out of this sock. So we want two pointy parts for the ears, because this is going to be the head. So we want to leave these bits pointed, so we're going to take a little bit out of the middle here, and then we're going to chop it about there, just before the heel of the sock. Don't worry if you get this bit wrong, because we only are going to use this other part of the sock, just the end bit. So don't worry about all this bit in the middle, you've got enough to work with for the head in all the middle, because we won't be using any of this bit besides this end here. Yeah, so I'm going to do a little angle cut in the middle, just to make it like my pointy, just try and make my pointy ears. So they're not that pointy, but we've got our two ears, yeah? I'm gonna maybe neaten it up a little bit, make them a little bit pointier. We'll try and make them a bit pointier. But we can try and make them more pointy when we're sewing them in a minute. Perfect. Good. And now we're going to cut off. Depends how big you want your cat's head, but I'm going to cut it about here so I've got enough space to work with. There we go. This bit doesn't look the greatest at the moment, but it will turn into a head once we get sewing. So there's your head. And now we're going to cut off this stretchy bit of the sock, because this is going to create our towel. So let me cut this off. went a bit uneven then, but that's all right, just corrected it. So now we have this part and this part, and now we can throw away these bits, we don't need them, so they can go out the way. All right, that's nice. So now we're going to get this part of the sock back. So we'll bring this bit back and make it all flat again, because now we're going to start creating our cat's body. I'm going to use, it doesn't matter what colour string you got, but I'm going to use maybe a yellow. I'm going to go for yellow, why not? I'm not going to go for yellow because this one's going to be really hard to thread. Oh no, I've got another yellow. I'm going to use this yellow. So I've got yellow, and I need to find a needle. Perfect. There we go, I've got my needle. That should be more than enough. If you don't know, if you're not too sure of how much thread you're going to need to use, just don't bother snipping off the string. Just put this on the end of your needle. But if you are cutting it off, you want to make a little knot at the end so it doesn't pull out. Cool. So now I'm going to start from the end because it's easier than starting in the middle. And so now start here, pull it all the way through. There we go. And then we're going to go, keep on going back. I'm not the best at sewing, guys, so don't worry about your sewing skills. Maybe your mum or your parent or carer, nan, auntie, uncle, whoever could help, could show you, because I'm terrible, but I'm just going to give it the best I got and see what happens, yeah? There we go, and keep on going. So we're going to keep on going all the way till we get round to about here on the second leg, and then we'll stop and I'll show you the next step. So as you now can see, guys, I've finished sewing all the way around. So I started on that paw, gone all the way around here and up to the other side. So now we're finished with this side. Let me leave it with a bit of space to tie a knot in. So now we're going to turn our cat round to the open side, because we now have an open and a closed side. So now we're going to fold this back, be very gentle, so then we've got a bit of an opening here. So we're now going to get our stuff in, rip it up a bit, make it a bit smaller, and we're going to put it inside the sock to fill up our legs now, yeah? So you want to get it right in there, right to the foot, so it gives it a nice big, yeah. Alright, so now I've stuffed one leg and I'm going to fill up the other leg. Because now, as you start stuffing it, you'll see your legs starting to take shape. So you can actually realise that they're actually legs now. So let's get that in there. Yep. And just make sure you're not too tough with it, because you don't want to pull out any of your stitches. Finish stuffing it. So this is where you're going to put most of your stuffing in, because you're going to fill up your body now. So you've got your legs and you've got your body filled. You're going to fill it all the way up to the top of its body before its legs start. Cool. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Perfect. So now we can start on one of our legs. We're not going to go straight around and do both our legs. We're going to start by closing up this side. So close this side up while we still have our opening here, so we can fill in the rest of our foot. So let's start doing that. We've still got some string left, so I'm going to use that, or some thread, sorry. So I'm going to start from the middle and work my way up now, yeah? Oh, I haven't tied an end in it, bear with me. Now start from the middle and I'm going to work my way up. Oh no. So now we've finished off in our cat, we're now going to sew this leg up from about the middle all the way to the top, but leaves this bit open so we can stuff this leg. So let me get some more string. I'm not sure if I've got enough there. So now we're all filled up, we're going to start sewing from the middle to the top of this foot, and then we're going to stuff the rest of the foot with a gap that's open, and then we're going to finish sewing it up, yeah? So let's do that. So now we've finished sewing up this side, we're now going to stuff this open part and finish this leg. So let's get that cotton and stuff it. So remember to be gentle because you don't want to pull out any of the sewing that you've just done. So, like I just did, but that's alright, tighten it up. And make sure you push it up so that you haven't got like a gap because you don't want any gaps in there. So I'm now happy with that leg, it's nice and full of stuffing. So now I'm going to finish off sewing and close up the top of this cat's leg. There we go. Perfect, so that is that leg all done. So now let me snip that and I'll deal with that later. So now we're going to start on our other leg. So we need to again start from the middle, sew all the way up, finish stuffing it, and then we'll be finished with our body. So now you've finished sewing up the other side, we can now start stuffing it before we close up that leg, and our body will be then complete. So let me stuff this leg. There, let's push it up so we don't have a gap there. There we go. A little bit more. Perfect. So now the other leg is finished. I'm going to carry on sewing and close it up. So let's close up this part. Push that bit of stuffing in. So let's close it up. Perfect. All done. So now guys, the body is complete. We're all sealed up. I need to get rid of these little bits of string, but that's fine. But the body's now complete, and it's up to you what side you're going to put your head on, because I quite like this side to be the cat's back where it bends naturally, because otherwise your cat's going to bend upwards, like his paws are going to bend upwards unless you manipulate it. But it's up to you what you do with it, but I'm going to use this side, yeah? So that's me all done. So now we've finished with the body, we're going to start on the head. So if we get these two bits of fabric back, and again you can either use the same colour thread, I'm probably going to use the same, or you can use whatever colours you've got in the house available to you. I actually might change it. I think I'm going to go, no, I don't think it matters. I'm going to use yellow still. So let's get some more thread out. Right, so I'm going to start sewing from the top, so I can start with the ears first. So I'm going to go from this corner, so we'll go from the corner, and I'm going to fold this little bit here into itself and sew that together to make my pointy ear. So as I said, if you messed up with a cutting and didn't get that much of a point, don't worry, because you can fold your bit of sock and change it. Ooh, don't know what happened there. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. So you sew it all the way around, the whole way around, and just make sure when you're sewing it that you are covering and that you're not going too high, so that you actually are closing all the gaps. Right, so now I'm going to turn that a bit, perfect, and sew it through it, so that it makes the shape of a bit. So it gives it a bit more of a point. Yeah. So now once we've sewed this all closed, we now should have some sort of looking ears. So I think they kind of look a bit like ears, but it will look better once we stuff it. And yours is probably going to look way better than mine anyway, so don't worry. Let me get this stuffed. So now put your stuffing up and try and get it up to the pointy ears. If you've left a little bit of a gap, you should be able to stuff a bit of stuffing up into his ears. So now, oh, I've got lots of thread and that, so I've got to cut that bit off. So now when you finish stuffing it, give it a little squeeze to flatten it out, and perfect. So I'm happy with all that amount of stuffing. You can put as much stuffing as you want in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to seal up this part. So we're going to sew this whole section here, yeah? So now we should have our body and our head once we've finished sewing up the bottom. So it should look like that. And now this is the part where we're gonna put the head on the cat. So I'm gonna put the cat's head on where the heel of the sock is. So it's kind of in the middle, pretty much. So now what you wanna do is you wanna fold this bit, and you're gonna hold it on here, and you're gonna start sewing from either side, yeah? So it might be a bit tricky, so you might wanna ask someone to help you, just to hold it in place for you, but otherwise, I'm sure you'll manage to be able to do it by yourself. Yeah, it's a little bit fiddly and a little bit tricky, but if I manage it, I'm sure you can manage it. If not, I'm sure there's people around just to give you a helping hand. So there we go. And so carry on and sew all the way around till the cat's head is secure onto its body. So I'm going to sew the cat's head all the way round just to make sure it is secure, because I don't want it falling off. And if you do it all the way round, it could help the cat's head stay up a bit stronger, because otherwise, once you just sew the back, it might just flop back. But now we do the front, it makes it stand up. So it's up to you, you never know, you might want it just to flop back, or you might just want to have an easier time at making it, so you will just only do the back. But it's up to you what you want to do, because it is a bit tricky and it is a bit fiddly, but it's a fun little activity that we can do. And we're upcycling old socks into new things, into a little teddy bear cat. So now I've sewed it all the way around, I'm going to tie them bits of string together and then chop off the bit that I don't need. So this will make sure that it's all secure. Perfect. Now I can get rid of that. So now we should have our cat with our cat's head attached to our cat's body. So now the last thing we've got to do is to add our towel. So for the towel, we want to roll it up nice and tight. You can make it as big as, so if you make it a bit looser, then it will be longer. If you make it tighter, it will be shorter. So I'm going to fold it like that. And then to make sure this stays together, we're now going to sew this side to that side, so then your towel won't all unravel, yeah? So now we're going to go like so. So now our rolled up little towel will all stay together nice and tight, and it won't all come away, yeah? So now I'm going to hold it in place. I'm going to make sure my towel's all nice and tightly wrapped up. And now I'm going to start sewing it to its body. So just the same as the head as well, you just want to secure it and make sure it's not going to fall off. So you're going to sew all the way around the tail, going in and out. Alright, so guys, so once you've finished sewing on your towel, your cat is all done. So it should look like a cat. You can paint it with some fabric paint. I'm sure you can glue some bits on here, whatever you'd like to do. But that is it. That is your finished cat made out of a sock. But make sure you follow my steps on the towel and don't be like me and not sew your towel together. Otherwise it turns out a little bit weird. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with my cat. And I hope you guys like this, and hopefully you make some cats yourselves out of some old socks. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you guys. See you soon.